Welcome to the Investor Fuel Real Estate Investing Show, where I interview the nation's top real estate entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and other amazing entrepreneurs to help educate and inspire you to take your business and your life to the next level. My goal is to add tremendous value to you during every single episode of this show. If you get value, I'd love it if you subscribe on your favorite podcast player, subscribe on YouTube, and my very favorite, please share this with your community so we can impact even more entrepreneurs. Let's start today's show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Today I'm here with Brent Bowers, and we're going to be talking about investing in land, everything you want to know about investing in land, and kind of Brent's evolution as well. Like, it's started off, and it's just like everything we do as entrepreneurs, it evolves over time. So it's going to be a great show if you've thought about investing in land, or you're already doing it and looking for some new ways to monetize those deals that you might be missing out on now. So Brent, great to have you here, buddy.
Mike Hambright, long time no see. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to do this today.
Yeah, dude. I've been obviously mostly a single family guy. You might not know this about me, but I've done a tremendous amount of apartment investing over the last 5 or 6 years in large multifamily syndications. But I'm always, because I support the Mastermind and I do the podcast, and like I see everything, and I'm always intrigued by certain asset classes, including land. So I'm excited to dig in a little bit more today, pick your brain, if you will. And I didn't even have to buy you a coffee. I just invited you to a podcast, and I get to pick
be careful. Don't pick too much. You never know what you're going to find in there.
But hey, before we jump into investing in land, just tell us a little bit about your background and how you made it here.
Yeah, started in real estate 2007, got my real estate license, bought the first property that came across my desk because that's what I was there to do. I wasn't there to show houses to anybody. I wanted to own the gold. Was reading The Art of the Deal in middle school. Anybody's wondering why our president makes the decisions he makes and how he negotiates, like you read The Art of the Deal, you'll understand. That's all I'll say on politics. But I always wanted to be a real estate investor from the beginning, I think. And I got in real estate 2007, 2008, 2009. I quit. I was a big quitter. Had to, basically, move in with my in-laws, and luckily my wife's grandpa was like, listen, you can start back over. You can go to college, join the Air Force. So I tried to join the Air Force. They wouldn't take me. So they said, go next door. The Army will take anybody. So I'm coachable. I went next door and joined the Army, did a couple deployments to Afghanistan, went from enlisted to officer, really rose up in the ranks, but I still had that entrepreneurship fire inside of me. 2013, I took a little break from 09 to 13. I started buying houses again. And I never could have left my job on my 8 doors that I had by 2015, but I was searching for answers. I wanted to leave the military. I had a second baby on the way. First wife left when I was in Afghanistan the second time, and I really saw the writing on the wall. I was like, I think the second wife's about to leave me too, because I'm always gone. I'm always training. I'm preparing for my 3rd combat deployment. So I had a huge why. So I started searching for answers. I knew I wasn't going to be able to leave the military for collecting rental properties. Not until I owned maybe 155 of them or so, but I didn't want any part of that. But I heard a guy talking about land investing, how he was buying land for like pennies on the dollar and then reselling it overnight and doubling his money. And I was like, I need some of that right now. So I took immediate action in 2016 and built my passive income up to about $12K a month net, and left the military in 2018. And I've been doing land deals ever since. I haven't had a real job since 2018.
Yeah. Well, I know you've worked hard because, it's easy on podcasts and on social media for everything to look like you were an overnight success. But we actually got these, by the way, we give out thousands of t-shirts a year to our Investor Fuel Mastermind members. Every quarter, we've got a new shirt. We've got a birthday shirt every year. We give lots of shirts out. And we had one a while back that said overnight success, 15 years in the making or something like that. Because
that's right.
There's always a grind behind it, and nobody, unless you've been in it, you don't know it. Everybody in the outside world thinks it was easy, but we'll let them think that, because it's, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I like to tell people I've been practicing real estate for 20 years now, because I really started in started going to seminars in 2005. I pulled out so we had the projector out for the kids the other night, and I pulled out one of my Robert Allen real estate investing
There
books,
you go.
and I was propping it up, with the projector up with it,
That's
and I
funny.
thought, man, I went to this thing in 2005, right
Yeah.
after graduating high school. And my wife laughed when I was putting it away. She goes, "You go in the study?" I opened it up and I was like, I probably should read this thing,
Yeah.
because that's all I ever did. I brought it from the seminar and put it on my bookshelf.
Yep. Yep. A lot of those books though have a lot of fundamentals. It's sometimes you got to like get back to the basics, you know.
It's always the basics. That's what
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
us money.
Yep. So let's talk about what we're going to talk a lot about land investing today, but let's talk about first off, and this is going to sound rudimentary. What is it? I mean, is it I know it could be large tracts of land, could be infill lots. Like there's a lot of ways to, to be a land investor, but what does that look like for you?
Yeah, for me now, it's changed quite a bit. But first, I was just buying anything I can get my hands on for like as cheap as possible. A lot of that was tax delinquent land, stuff that was not buildable, not accessible, landlocked, not big enough to build on. And I would buy it for like super cheap and then just sell it to someone for more. A lot of times weird. First several were under a couple $100, and I would sell them for 5,000. And then I started selling it for 5,000 on payments because I was like, well, this land's not worth that much. Maybe they'll pay me payments. But now it's turned into where I go in and find land. It could be infill buildable lots. Basically, for anybody that's like, what's an infill lot? It's something that's already got road frontage, electric and water close by, or sometimes maybe not electric or water. Maybe they can drill a well, put a septic system in. But we call those infill lots. Like someone can pop a house on them pretty quickly. And then the recreational stuff is like stuff that where people go and camp and hunt and fish and shoot guns, cook meth, whatever they want to do with it.
All the above.
And yeah, and then you got the like the bigger parcels like 5, 10, 15, 20 acre tracts, which people love those as well. So I don't care what kind of land it is, as long as I see other comparable parcels selling in the area, because that tells me there's demand. I price that land out, and then we send what's called a LOL, a land offer letter, where people can make offers every single day. I say make 50 offers a day. You do that long enough, you're going to have some smoking hot deals come across your email inbox, because they email them back to us. If anybody wants a copy of that land offer letter or the LOL, they can go to thelandsharks.com/LOL.
Cool. So would do most investors focus on all those things as well, or do they tend to focus on just infill lots or just recreational land?
Yeah.
I know there's some, a lot of this is unlike the single family side. It's not like you're going to sit at the kitchen table with somebody. So you're typically doing all this over the phone, which opens it up to be virtual. I know a lot of land investors might invest across lots of different states as well, right? Not necessarily like the market where they live, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you, the people I teach, they go after where there's demand. It doesn't matter if it's recreational or infill buildable. I don't think everyone gravitates to kind of what they're comfortable. I'll do any land deal that's got, profit in it. Now I'm now doing the bigger land deals, the more profitable ones, because, it takes, and people might think I'm crazy by saying this if they're about to do their first land deal or first real estate deal, if they haven't done their first deal yet. But it takes just as long to make $50,000 as it does to make $5,000. So I don't really care what size or how much the land's worth. If I can get it for a discount, I now have an asset that I can get under contract at a massive discount, which is a beautiful piece of land that someone wants to buy. So the people I teach, to answer your question, Mike, is I don't tell them go specifically for recreational or infill or like ranch style or bigger acreage, because you got almost have to leave it a little general, because I don't want to create competition inside of our community, which I think there's healthy competition, collaboration, really. A lot of people do deals together inside the Land Sharks community, but I think that's why there's so much opportunity in land, is because where you see an 80-acre parcel, you can make a quick 50,000. I could see an 80-acre parcel that I can make 1.5 million if I go for a year and entitle it, survey it, subdivide it, plat map it, get an engineering, all the above. It cost me 100 grand and maybe 18 months of time, but that's another level. And then there's the person that builds on it. Like there's so many different ways to make money on a piece of raw vacant land.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. And I would say, just like the single family side or whatever, I mean, people come in at one kind of area of expertise, maybe one exit strategy, and then over time they evolve to either ways that are maybe a little more advanced, right? You make more money. If you're making some money, you could maybe be a little bit more patient with when that money comes back to you. And up front, you might just need to effectively assign deals and make the quick
Yeah.
money because you got to get some money in the register and build up your confidence and maybe get your spouse off your back or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah, you got to give her confidence. And sometimes I envy the guys that I've paid $74,000 assignment fees. I'm like, I mean, I'm dealing with one right now, and I say dealing with it because it's been a massive pain in the butt. Where I was just like, yeah, I'll bite off that. It's a no-brainer, and it turned out to be a lot more hidden beneath the surface. But I should have been the guy of like, you know what? I used to be the guy that would assign those, make that quick 74,000, on to the next one. But here I've been working on this land deal now for a year, and I've got piles of cash into it. So you're right. You got to have patience for some of these, and I'll pick one or two of those a year to work on. But yeah, I'll still do an assignment deal. I'm not above it.
Yeah, let's talk about different exit strategies, like different ways to make money. You just mentioned some of them, but let's dig in a little bit. So, for those that are familiar with the single family side, you can just assign it to another investor, right? I mean, that's the quickest and easiest way to get in and out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you get that land under contract. Say it's worth 100K, and you get it under contract for 60,000, and you see builders are paying 75, 80 for it, or people are buying it for 75, 80. There's just go and assign your contract, and we have multiple ways to do that. Then there's the second method where you use some of your own cash to buy the land, and you turn around and sell it. That's my preferred. I want to have time. I don't want to be rushed and looking for someone I can assign the contract to. The third method is which I
So that's
prefer
kind
even
of like what I would call a wholesale. Like you're
wholesale.
not adding any value, right? You're selling it, but you're just not you're taking ownership of it to allow yourself more time, or
Yeah.
you're not really improving the land though, typically, right?
Yeah, no, I don't improve the land usually at
Yeah.
all. The 370 something land deals that I've done, I've probably only improved about 300, maybe
Yeah.
12 or 13 of them.
By the way, I don't know
um,
if you know this about me. I have my wife and I built a compound in East Texas. So we bought 104 acres. We call it Big H Ranch. So I have a ranch out there. It's 90 acres of loblolly pines plus a home site and some ponds and stuff like that. So I just got a skid steer with a brush cutter, and I'm in heaven. I love just going out and just cutting shit down. So
yeah, man, that's the cool thing about
don't get
that
one
is,
if you want to continue on the path of not improving land. Don't buy a skid steer because you're gonna feel like everything's a nail and you've got a hammer for it at that point.
yeah, my buddy, I'm so jealous. He's actually out. We're putting the barnuminium on one of our 4 acres in Florida, and he's out clearing my
Yeah,
pad right now. And I wanted to go out and meet him, but I wasn't going to cancel on you today, Mike.
yeah, I appreciate that. I'll tell you what though, I haven't mowed my own lawn like that's not our primary residence, so I haven't mowed my own lawn in 20 years. But out there, like you can't get me out of the tractor. I just want to go out
Yeah.
and mow. Of course, I'm in a cab with heat and air conditioning and Bluetooth, and it's like,
Oh
it's not
yeah.
like I'm pushing a mower, but
You're jamming out. Yeah, what's
yeah, it's
cool about
fun.
John Deere is you get 60 months, 0% interest financing with like hardly any credit. So it's a great way to write off some tax money if you didn't buy enough real estate to
Yeah,
cost
yeah, yeah,
segregate that year. I almost bought one this year myself, but I didn't.
yeah.
So
So the whole tail, so you just kind of take it down and sell it as is, but you don't improve it, but gives you some time. It gives you some leverage too if you're buying from somebody that wants to close like ASAP, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
my favorite method is selling it on seller financing because I want to be the bank. So I
Yeah.
borrow money from you, Mike, for say 9%, and I buy the land for 40K and I sell it for 90K and I get a $5,000 down payment and I just create an $85,000 note at 12% interest. I'm paying you 9% on 40K and I'm collecting 12% on 85K. We'll call it positive arbitrage. Um, those are my best deals. Those are the ones that pay me for as long as possible. We create interest, we collect interest. Those are like printing money. When you get it at the price I get it at, and then turn around and be the bank, there's a reason why the banks are the biggest, prettiest buildings in every city in every state. So that's my preferred method, is to use other people's money to buy the land and turn around and be the bank and let them pay me monthly. Because a lot of Americans think, how much is it going to cost me each month? How much does it cost each month? And they realize they can buy a piece of land and make a monthly payment, and they see it as a long-term investment as well.
Yeah. What are I have a personal experience from the person that we bought our 104 acres from, but what do people are usually aspirational, right? Maybe they go camp or park a mobile home there, or use ATVs and run around, shoot guns, hunting, all those things. I mean, that's really the person, right? That's like, I'm going to go use it, and maybe someday when we retire, I'll build a house here. Or they have some like long-term aspirational plans for recreation or building. That's a pretty common buyer of those things?
Absolutely. I mean, just
Yeah.
like you bought that ranch. I mean,
Yeah.
I could see it in your eyes. You own a piece of America, let
Oh
alone you
yeah.
own a piece of Texas.
I want a piece
You
of heaven,
know,
buddy. It's nice out there. You got to come join me. But
and
yeah,
90 acres of pines, you had me sold.
the guy I bought it from, I think he owned it for 8 or 10 years, and he retired and just sold it because all he's doing is mowing it now. But he bought it I think when his son was in high school, and so maybe he owned it for a little bit longer. And then his son went in the military, and the plan was, we'll build a family, we'll build a home for our family, and all this, and maybe like a couple homes on one side or something. But then his son went in the military, got married, got a job, didn't move back to Texas, and so he's like, all I'm doing now is mowing this land. And so that's probably a fairly common scenario of people buy it and use the hell out of it for a while, and then eventually, kind of like a boat or a hot tub or a pool, it's like, we're not using it as much as we thought we would, and maybe we'll just sell it now.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Yep, you got it.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. So, and the folks that you're typically buying these things from, because you're picking them up for cheap, right? Is, you said, they're behind on taxes, delinquent on taxes, or
Not
probably
everybody. That's a real small list, but it happens.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes they live in the same county and they're not behind on taxes.
Okay. And sometimes I assume it's inherited, right? And whoever inherited it is like, what is this? Like, we're
Yeah.
not using this. Like, get rid of it.
Yeah, inherited, probate. They bought it, like you said, that gentleman, someday maybe, and life just happened for
Yeah.
them, and they know it. They're paying for college for a grandchild, and they want to sell the land, and they've been holding on to it, and they might have made some money on it. Sometimes they take it at a loss. Sometimes it's foreclosure. You name it. It's kind of like our buyers. They all have different plans, and so did the sellers at one time.
Yeah. Yeah. And for some folks, if they're not even using it, it just becomes kind of a anchor. Like, they're just like, this is not good. They get a tax bill
Yeah,
in the mail, and they're like, what are we doing here?
they might live in another state now, and they're tired of paying those taxes. I mean, heck, I don't like paying taxes on property that I'm receiving money on, let alone paying taxes on land that I don't get money on. Like, and
Yeah.
let me tell you, I got some of those as well.
Yeah.
I just need to get my butt busy and sell some of that stuff
Yeah.
because I
And
accumulate some of this, and
And the
sometimes people stop
recreational
paying.
land stuff is not, it's just not that liquid, right? I mean, I know when we bought our land out there, it wasn't on the MLS. Like, it wouldn't have been on the MLS. It's way on the outskirts. I mean, it's 90 minutes east of Dallas. And there's just, kind of like wholesaler sites for houses. There's like TexasLandAndRanch.com. There's just kind of
Mm,
random websites. But a lot of this stuff is sold through non-traditional ways, right? So a lot of times, people that have land like this are probably not getting hit as hard as somebody is in a north suburb of Dallas that's trying to getting postcards to sell their house, right? They're not marketed quite as hard.
yeah, the outskirts, if you can find comps, those are the best deals to do because they're, again, yeah, it's like there's no competition. But when I do sell it, heck yeah, you better believe that I'm putting it on the MLS with the land sales specialist real estate agent that
There you
if
go.
they don't sell that land, they don't feed their family.
Yeah.
It's all about marketing. Really, we're in the marketing business. Land just
Right.
happens to be my product.
Yeah.
I want drone photos, video, ground photos. I want someone sitting in Wisconsin during a snowstorm to be able to buy my Florida land and just feel the sunshine on their face.
Yeah. Awesome. So we talked about signing, owner financing, kind of wholesaling, I guess. And then I know you've been doing some stuff now with putting mobile homes on land. So talk about that a little bit and talk about how that evolved, like how that kind of came about.
Yeah, that has absolutely really been fun. So I look back at my house flipping days because kind of left that part out from about 2015 to about 2020. I was also flipping houses, and if I look at my best profits ever made, um, I they always came from mobile homes. They were always manufactured or a modular home. So I have some land sharks in our community. A couple years ago, I met them, and they own about 33 mobile home parks. And I was like, guys, teach me how to do this. This people want to learn this. Um, so they started teaching me, but then they were like, Brent, we really want to tell you what's really making us money. We use your land techniques from the land sharks method, and we place mobile homes on it. We've placed about 45 so far, and we make about 45K each. And I was like, what's the worst you've ever made on one? They said 25,000. I said, why? They said, we're actually doing that one right now. We're boring a water line underneath a major highway. And I was like, oh. So anyhow, they got me doing this again, and like we're making like 45K net profit each one. Some of them better than that, but the first one I ever did personally myself was in 2020. I made $97,000 net,
Wow.
and I wasn't using their techniques. So I've kind of did a little bit of a shift. So there's some markets I've been making piles of cash in with just land. Well, something happened with those market where I'm not making money in those anymore. So I'm like, well, heck, let me put a few mobile homes on some of this land I own. And my dad actually does land as well. So he sent me 3 land deals. I was like, yeah, I'll take them. I didn't get a deal on them. He got paid, seller got paid, but I was like, I can put 3 mobile homes on it and make 51,000 each. So what's really cool, some of these markets we're doing this in, where the median home price, for instance, South Carolina, median home price in this area is 460 grand. We're selling these brand new houses on a half acre of land for 230,000. So people that couldn't afford the 460K for a fixer-upper house, they're
Yeah.
now getting a brand new mobile home. These things are selling in a weekend.
Wow.
So we started teaching people how to do this, and it's amazing how quick they catch on.
Yeah.
You can teach anybody with a checklist.
It's the last bastion of hope for affordable housing is mobile homes, right?
Yeah, and these are beautiful. Like I'm not doing like
Yeah.
the old panel board you see in the
Right.
1960s that your great grandma lived in. Like these are drywall. You know, you got backsplashes, stainless steel appliances. Like I got a picture over here of one of them. It's just beautiful. Like you can't tell it's a mobile home on the
Right.
inside.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. That's a great opportunity. And it really took you coming in and, obviously some people in your group as well, but I think for a lot of real estate investors, I mean, just kind of use the word evolution. Like you start as a real estate investor and then over time you realize what you like to do and what you're good at and maybe like how to squeeze more juice out of the fruit that you already have, right? Because you already have the land. It's like, well, especially the past couple of years where deal flow is down for a lot of real estate investors. A lot of people have shifted from wholesaling to more retailing because there's a lot of, it's a little bit different now with interest rates changing, but there just hasn't been as much inventory. So they're like, hey, I can make twice, in some instances, I can make twice as much retailing a deal than assigning it. And same thing for you. You're like, well, I've got this land. How do I make more money out of it? It's like, find a way to add more value where people are willing to pay a lot more for it, right?
Yeah, it's like this 4 acres I got in Florida. It's kind of a pain in the butt to build houses on it, so no builders have bought it, or no one's bought it to build on it. But we found out that because it sat. I was like, I bought it 27,000 an acre, and I see the land selling for 57,000 an acre. No brainer, right? Well, in the county, which this is a mistake on our part, so I've made a lot of mistakes buying land too. No one called the county to see if we can get a building permit. They said, yeah, we'll give you a building permit as long as you build the asphalt roads. I'm like, for 10 foot of asphalt road, it's like, $500,000. We're not doing that. And I over exaggerate a little bit, but if we put all 4 acres together, turn it into agriculture, now I can put a utility barn. So we are putting a utility barn on this land as we speak, and we're going to call it a barnuminium. We're putting electric and water, and we tested it out on Facebook. People want this. Like in 2 days, we had 48 questions. The number 1 and number 2 question was, is there water and is there electric?
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. So let's talk about lead gen a little bit. So I don't know if you know this. I run a lead gen company called Investor Machine for single family investors, so lead gen is always near and dear to my heart. I know you guys primarily send direct mail. Is that your primary lead gen channel?
Yeah, you got it. The land offer letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll find the demand, then I'll price that area out, and then I'll pull a list of just that area, and we'll send them offer letters. That's reverse engineered to give us profit if someone signs and sends those back. So I can make offers every day, all day, without the rejection. Sometimes they call and complain, but you
Yeah.
know,
So
you
when you
know,
say you find the demand, say that again. So you're looking for you've got demand before you go look for land. Is that what you're doing?
that's right. Yeah. So basically, when I started this business, I used to buy that unbuildable, not accessible, landlocked stuff that really there wasn't much demand for. People weren't even paying their taxes, nor would tax lien investors even pay the back taxes. So I had to go out and create demand. I had to get a lot of eyeballs on it. Marketing was huge. But once I was like, you know what? I actually learned this from a land shark. He was making these like 100K assignment fees. And I'm like, what the heck are you doing that I'm not doing? And I looked at his method and I was like, okay, I see this. So you're going where there people are interested in buying land. How do you find demand? You see where the land's selling, where the land's selling. And then I just started pricing it out, and I just started stretching my comfort zone. And I would price out these parcels of land that are selling for like 150K, and then I would offer like 97 for it. And so price it out. Demand is what's selling, and it's easier to go out there and fill a demand than it is create demand.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's great. So Brent, if folks want to if folks are listening to this right now and they've been single family investors, they want to kind of add this in, maybe talk a little bit about that transition, or if you already know how to do houses, this is an easy transition, I assume, right? And if you've
Yeah.
never started, this is an easier, I know you've got per your program, you've got an easy path for folks to get started. But if folks are kind of bolting this on to what they're already doing, talk about some of the, I guess, maybe pros and cons high level as compared to single family.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Cons, if you're investing in single family and keeping the single families, cons of land is you cannot depreciate land. There's no tax shelter in it. So I got to take my land money and I go and buy light industrial buildings and or mobile home parks, so I can write things off and cost segregate. But the pro is this happens a lot. We have a lot of house flippers, a lot of house wholesalers. They'll come to me and say, you know what, I want the passive income. I'm tired of the houses. I'm tired of going and sitting on these disgusting couches and talking to these sellers and trying to convince them to sell their house that they raised their kids in for 20 years. They never clean the carpet. And now they've been told their entire life their house is their biggest investment. So they want top dollar, because what do investments do? They increase in value. So a lot of these guys are putting someone on their team that they already have and using the resources they already have to basically lock in the land side of this business. Because a lot of people, a lot of home buyers, you see them on Google, they're paying per click, they're paying investor leads, and sometimes they get land leads and they don't know what the heck to do with them, or they're just passing them. They're passing by them, but what they don't realize is they're passing by sometimes $50,000 assignment fees or $50, $60, $100,000 profits. Again, that deal I mentioned, I buy for 40, sold it for 90. That's a real deal. I'll make $106,000 on that land deal over 13 years if that buyer pays me the entire portion. Sometimes they pay me off early. I don't make as much, but I'll just recycle that money and pay off my lender and put her money somewhere else. That lender is actually my mother-in-law.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. And if folks want to learn more about you and Land Sharks, where do they go to learn more?
Yeah, someone wants to just jump on the phone with me, go to thelandsharks.com and hit that schedule a call button. I will be the one making the call back to you. And if you want to check out my socials, it's Brent L. Bowers. The L does stand for land. Yeah, Brent L. Bowers.
Yeah, my middle initial is L as well, but it does not stand for land. So yeah, that's interesting. You were born that way. You were born with land in your name.
Born with it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Does the L stand for Lucky? Mike Lucky Hambright?
Yeah, that's right. I'm so lucky. Yep. Cool, man. Well, hey, thanks so much for joining us today on the show. Great to see you.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, everybody, hope you got some good value today. If you're looking for ways to get involved in land, you should definitely check out Brent. He's got a dialed-in system. I know he's helped a lot of people kind of get started in this or add it onto your existing business. So hope you got some good value from today, guys. We'll see you on the next show. Thanks for joining us for today's show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing on your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. You can also check out the show's notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and even how to work with me directly one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. See you on the next show.